All right, guys, this is Module 5, Lesson 19. We'll be solving 4 different word problems today using the RDW, and that means we're going to read it, draw it, and write it. So get your whiteboards out and follow along with me. Our first problem, Sue ran 9/10 of a mile on Monday, 7/10 of a mile on Tuesday. How many miles did Sue run in the 2 days? Well, the first thing I'm going to draw is I'm going to draw my 9/10 of a mile in a box. And then I'm going to draw my 7/10. So go ahead, pause the video if you haven't drawn it, and we'll continue. Now these 2 tapes equal the amount that Sue ran on Monday and the amount Sue ran on Tuesday, and this is our total. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to add up these 2 fractions. So now we've created an equation of 9/10 plus 7/10, and that would equal the total that she ran in the 2 days. So we know that we're working with tenths as a part. 9 plus 7 is 16/10. Now we know that this 16/10 can be decomposed into a different number. So what we're going to do is we're going to decompose that. I can take 10/10 plus 6/10 equals my 16/10, and 10/10 equals 1, and 6/10 would stay the same. So our answer is 1 and 6/10. That's how far she ran. If I want to take it to the next step, I know that we'll leave it there. All right, our problem, Mr. Salazar cut his son's birthday cake into 8 equal parts. Mr. Salazar, Mrs. Salazar, and the birthday boy each ate 1 piece of cake. So that means we're going to draw our birthday cake here, and we're going to make this into 8 equal parts. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I have 8 pieces. Now we know that Mr. Salazar and Mrs. Salazar and the birthday boy each had 1 piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, these are the pieces that they had. They had 3 pieces. And this is the part that they ate right here. And then this would be the leftover. And our question is, how much of the cake was left? Well, we can count that out, knowing that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 pieces. So we would write that in the fraction form of 5/8. 5/8. But we also need to is what was left. So let's look at this and look at this as a equation. That we know that the cake is 8 out of 8 pieces, subtracted by the 3 pieces of the 8 that were eaten by the family, and we have 5/8 of the cake is left over. In this problem, Maria spent 4/7 of her money on a book and saved the rest. What fraction of money did she save? Well, let's look at this. Here is the amount of money, her total amount of money that she had. And she spent 4/7 of that money. This is how much we have left. So if I look at this, so let's review what we have. This is the total amount of money that Maria had. She spent 4/7 of that. She saved, we don't know how much. So what we want to do is recreate a problem showing that. So we're going to subtract, well, we know that 1 equals 7/7. That would be the total that she spent, or the total she had, I'm sorry. And now we know that she spent 4 of that 7, and we would subtract it. 4/7 minus 4 equals 3 of the 7th. So our answer of what she saved was 3/7. All right, boys and girls, I've taken the time to go ahead and draw out my tape diagram and write out the equation ahead of time. So again, like usual, pause this video and go ahead, draw this out on your whiteboard so we can solve the problem together. All right, I'm going to assume you have this drawn out, and let's review the problem. Mrs. Jones had 1 4/8 pizza after the party. So this is how much she had left after your party. She gave Gary some of the pizza. After she gave it, she had 7/8 of that 1 4/8 left. We want to know how much she gave to Gary right here. So I've taken the time to write out the problem here that we're going to start with. We have 1 4/8 minus 7/8. So we have our total here minus the 7/8 will give us the amount that Gary had. But we have a mixed fraction here. So we're going to convert that mixed fraction into the mixed number into a fraction. So we know that 1 equals 8/8. We have our 4/8. So this would equal 12/8. Minus 7/8. And we're working in eighths. That stays the same. That hasn't changed. But we can how many of those 12/8 are left did Gary take? Then that gave us 7/8 left. So 12 minus 7 equals 5 of the eighths. So the amount of pizza that Gary took is 5/8. That's the end of this lesson, Module 5, Lesson 19, Solving Word Problems, Adding and Subtracting Fractions. As usual, you can review this lesson if you have any questions or ask me when you move on to the problem set in Class Kit and then the exit ticket on the board.